Welcome back to the Winter Wolfstone, guys. I'm here doing a brief review of Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. I'm a little late to the party, so without any further ado, let's get hunting. I'm going to give you a quick plot breakdown of what I saw on the screen. I'm going to try and keep it light and move it through into my likes and dislikes and get you guys out of here in time for lunch. We have Doctor Strange is trying to rescue America Chavez from a monster being sent by a demon intent on capturing the young girl's dimension opening power for itself. He looks pretty cool. He's got a tied back ponytail. He dies, but she winds up meeting our Doctor Strange. He's big sad because his on-again, off-again love interest is marrying somebody else, and he's there at the wedding watching it go down. With his calendar freshly cleared up since he's got nothing else to do, Strange agrees to help America, so he takes her straight to Carmitage, home of the sorcerer monks that trained him. Then he goes to visit the only Avenger who he thinks can help, and apparently that's Wanda Maximoff, aka the Scarlet Witch, fresh off her crimes against humanity in Westview. Uh-ohs! Wanda is the power behind the demons hunting Chavez. She wants to claim the girl's portal opening right hook for herself so she can have her boys back no matter the cost. Wanda threatens Strange, saying he'll come to Carmitage and take her by force if necessary, then lets him leave for some reason to ready up the defenses, instead of just killing him and then going there unannounced. Wanda shows up as promised and mops the floor with literally everybody that steps to her. It's like 30 monks, it's Wong, it's a couple other high power looking sorcerers that are there. America narrowly escapes with Strange into the multiverse. Stuff happens, it's mostly momentum crashing exposition. Then Strange encounters the Illuminati, a powerful organization of superheroes that our world doesn't have. Yet. They take him into custody because of their distrust for all Doctor Stranges, because of his reckless nature that's apparently destroyed worlds that they're aware of. He escapes because the Illuminati are morons, and the Scarlet Witch makes them look worse than the Eternals, defeats them all handily. The chase continues. Strange confronts an alternate version of himself that's been powered up by the Darkhold, the tome of ancient dark magic that's amplified Wanda's powers, and fast forward to the end, uses its powers to confront Wanda with some cool as hell Evil Dead-inspired necromancy. Strange and Chavez convince Wanda she's not the mother of the year after all, and the good guys win. It isn't much, it lacks the adrenaline release of Captain America ordering the Avengers to assemble an endgame, or the lighthearted but good-natured trio of Spidermans working together at the end of No Way Home, but it's what we got. Strange makes his peace that he'll never have Christine in this or any other dimension, and we're out. This ain't no The Batman affair. Your bladder won't need reconstructive surgery after this one. Alright, gonna bust into the things I like, because for a change, an MCU movie gave me a couple of things that I did enjoy.
Oh, here's a fucking surprise.
And we'll wrap up with the things I didn't like and a little post-op. Things I liked, mostly on a technical level. The visuals with the sorcerer are always cool. I'm going to give a special nod to the buzzsaw that cut the bus in half during the Gargantos fight early on. The musical battle stands out also, and so do the zombie Doctor Strange effects that come through at the end. The escapes through the various multiverses were cool too. Decent superficial imagery, all around, very colorful, very bright, entertaining. America Chavez's portal smash effect looks straight from the comic also. Very cool. Performances. Cumberbatch does what he can with the script. It isn't much to do as the lead, unfortunately. He gives you the sarcasm and the gruffness when called for. Rachel McAdams returns as the love interest Christine, but doesn't really add anything of note. Xochitl Gomez does a fine job as MCU newcomer America Chavez, nicely avoiding most of my concerns regarding the character being introduced as some know-it-all feminist self-insert. She managed to play her role well, and made me care about a character I couldn't have given a damn about less than a minute before I saw this movie. The standout here, though, was Elizabeth Olsen, no surprise, who's fully embracing the psycho within at this point. She could turn on the Wounded Waterworks on a dime and transition from a wounded Wanda into the cold monstrosity that is the terrifying Scarlet Witch with ease. She owns the role. This is her character to lose at this point. I also dug some of the atmosphere and tone, especially towards the end half of the movie. When director Sam Raimi is allowed to cut loose and be Sam Raimi, the movie transforms from a typical Marvel outing into something truly unique within the MCU. When he floors it and really throttles up the pacing, the movie immediately strikes the old Evil Dead imagery. It's a couple of zombie effects which are pretty cool, the chase scene is pretty good, and a couple of jump scares, one of which in particular scared my MMA-trained younger brother into needing a fresh pair of gym shorts. Contrary to what seems to be popular thought on YouTube, I didn't mind the relationship between Strange and Chavez. We've heard rumors that thanks to last-minute changes and reshoots, the America Chavez character was toned down in terms of sassiness, and I'm grateful for that, as I mentioned earlier. They passively played off each other, and their combined abilities made for an ending that made sense and allowed each of them to have meaningful impact. Chavez didn't MCU things up personally by fighting the patriarchy and going it alone, and Strange didn't somehow swing by a Walmart for a widget that gave him a plus 1000 boost to his magic ability. and then beat Wanda in a straight-up slugfest. And sadly, guys, that brings us into the stuff I didn't like. This one served up an ice-cold, meandering middle with the side order of missed opportunity. The pacing is tight and unforgiving, but somehow also finds a way to make the whole thing feel a half hour too long. I think I've nailed down a few main reasons why. Number one, Doctor Strange seems like he's new to the whole sorcery thing. For a guy who's held the office of Sorcerer Supreme, it kind of begs the question of how he doesn't realize upon arriving on Wanda's orchard that something is amiss. You gotta figure it's a pretty massive magical energy signature created by the illusion she's casting to mask the hellscape she lives on. I mean, we're talking acres of burned trees and scorched earth here. Somehow Strange doesn't detect the problem until she literally lets it slip. Alright, let me back up for a second. Given this movie takes place after WandaVision, how in the hell would Doctor Strange think it's a good idea to even involve Wanda in the issue he's trying to solve?
Did IQs just drop sharply while I was away?
Worse, and perhaps more importantly, how isn't Strange leading whatever's left of the Avengers, Guardians of the Galaxy, and any new allies the MCU may have wanted to introduce, you know, the Fantastic Four, elements of the X-Men, and so on a mission to capture, contain, or rehab Wanda? Like, damn, planning something like that could have been a trilogy in itself. But anyway, number two, where in the nine hells was any semblance of Vision beyond him being name-dropped? How wasn't Strange's first idea to locate Vision in whatever other universe he found himself dropped into after going through Chavez's portal trying to escape Wanda? Like, they didn't think Vision would be a useful asset in helping to appeal to Wanda's sensibilities? Talk about getting a raw deal. This one seems like a massive oversight to me. And that brings me to number three. This one kind of chaps my ass. The much vaunted cameos that we now know they went back and added to capitalize on the success of Spider-Man No Way Home. Talk about a colossal waste of time in the name of fan service done wrong. They introduced the Illuminati. All well and good. Strange is a founding member of the group, and they're central to a good number of his comic arcs, as I recall. But here's where it comes apart at the seams. The Illuminati, their appearance, their purpose of it all adds up to a supreme nothing burger in this film. The Illuminati are revealed, and we get Black Bolt, though nobody knows who he is because literally nobody watched that god-awful Inhumans series back in 2017. We get an alternate, even smugger version of Captain Marvel, portrayed by Lashana Lynch as the Monica Rambeau version. We get Captain Britain Peggy Carter, because the idiots at the MCU forgot to bring in Namor before mentioning the Illuminati, because, you know, he's a founding member also. And we get longtime fan cast John Krasinski as smartest man alive, Mr. Fantastic, and fresh off disappointing Next Generation fans across the world, we get Patrick Stewart reprising his role as Professor X. Sounds cool, right? Wrong. In short order, after insulting and condemning Strange for their Doctor Strange's accidental destruction of an alternate universe resulting from the defeat of their Thanos, they mock him as being more concerned with his actions than the actions of a rampaging Wanda. Alternate, even smugger Captain Marvel even quips, "We're not afraid of the witch, we can handle her." Well, fast forward 2 seconds after condemning Strange, alarms in the Baxter building go off and Wanda strikes. Mr. Fantastic appeals to her reasons, but when it fails to get through to her, he gets all stretchy and tries to grab her. That's it. That's his go-to move. No crazy technological gadget, no contingency plan, just a he-bitch man slap.
Don't make me he-bitch man slap you.
I won't ruin the effect, but he gets got. Badly. Same for Black Bolt, the guy who's trained all his life to avoid speaking due to the massive disastrous results of the sound of his voice, suddenly forgets his own backstory. But don't worry, the ladies get it just as bad, conclusively proving that the Scarlet Witch is absolutely an all-hands-on-deck Avengers level threat. But perhaps the biggest insult here is the Scarlet Witch besting Professor X in a psychic battle. If I told you 10 years ago that one day you'd get to see Charles Xavier duke it out with an out-of-control Scarlet Witch in a psychic cage match, you'd have probably said, well, take my ticket money and spank my mutant ass already. Yeah, not so much here. Here, we get a sorry-ass Picard standing in for Professor X, who does a little bit embarrass himself during the confrontation. Anyway, I won't say this wolf won't hunt. It had its moments, and it's certainly nowhere near the routinely insulting mess that is the MCU on Disney+. But the Multiverse of Madness lacks the punch I was hoping it brought to the beginning of the summer movie season. It doesn't deliver enough bang for my buck with the horror elements, meaningful variations to the multiverse, or character development for Doctor Strange himself. The post-credits scene does set up something interesting that I'd like to see coming down the line in a third solo movie, and I mean that literally. I'd like to see a Doctor Strange solo flick that doesn't introduce any of the other Avengers, that doesn't bring America Chavez back. I just want him to have a proper hero's journey in a solo flick that just kind of rounds out his third movie and lets him either accept the role at head of the Avengers or transition him directly into an Illuminati film where we get the full intro of those actual characters in the MCU's prime timeline. That's all I got on this one, guys. Thanks a lot for tuning into the review. Let me know in the comments section below what you guys thought of Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. Apparently loads of people loved it. It's got a lot of repeat views through the first week and a half or so. Box office returns are good. but there was a sizable drop-off heading into weekend number 2 that should have the studio heads over at Marvel a little worried ahead of Thor: Love and Thunder. That's it for me, guys. I'm taking off, and I'll see you in the next one.